stalled on offense 3 series in a row. We went 3 and out. Started making some mistakes on defense. They scored, got back in the game. Momentum of the game changed, and we became, kind of an ordinary team. And I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this situation, especially playing on the road against a good team. You can't let up in a game. You got to be able to sustain and play Alabama football for 60 minutes in a game. I can't relinquish big leads. There's a lot of things for our players to learn in terms of what we could do better from an execution standpoint, and how we need to sustain, our intensity for 60 minutes in the game so we can play Alabama football. There's another opportunity and another challenge this week against Southern Miss. These guys have played really well on defense. They're one of the toughest people to run against of anybody in the country. Offensively, I know their first quarterback got hurt, but Keys is a really athletic guy. They do some of the same kind of quarterback runs and things that we saw a week ago. They've got good skill players on offense. These guys play hard. They're well coached. So, this will be a challenging game for us. And, I think that, spirit is a little bit different than attitude. Your spirit kind of tells you what your energy and enthusiasm is, and your energy and enthusiasm is what creates mental energy and intensity. And that's something that we got to work on, and we got to practice it every day. You got to practice it and practice. So you're developing the kind of habits and making the kind of choices that you can sustain and do things the way you need to do it when the game comes. So that's what we're focused on.
Okay, we'll get things started with Nick Kelly. Nick, go ahead.
Nick, you've talked several times about maintaining intensity first couple weeks of the season. Is that something that's a conscious decision that players have to make, or what is that?
Well, I think, you train yourself to do that, and you have to train yourself in practice. You can't hold back. You can't take yourself out. You got to put yourself in the situation that you're going to be in the game so that you feel that. And when you start to get a little bit tired in practice, you can keep on keeping on and continue to have the kind of spirit and energy you need to finish. So you actually train yourself to do that. But it's a conscious decision that every player makes. It comes down to, well, I'm feeling a little tired, so I'm going to change the way I'm playing, or you make the choices and decisions that I have to push through this, and I'm going to train myself so that I can continue to do this even when the game comes. So it really comes down to feelings versus making the right choices as a player.
We'll go to Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, when you went back to look at the film, did you see any consistent or schematic issues with the defense that led to the issues in the final, 3 quarters of the game?
Well, we didn't execute. I think maybe there was, one time where we had a pressure on that they ran a speed option or something, and, we didn't have enough guys there. But it really came down to executing. It really came down to, players. They did some different things, but, you got to adapt to those things and play things on principle. And at times, we didn't do that very well. And we weren't very aggressive. We didn't get off the field on third down, especially in the second half. We had opportunities to get off the field on third down and did not do it. 99-yard drive, we had several opportunities to get off the field. We had a third and, 19 and didn't get off the field. So those are plays that you have to make in a game. So that's something that we just need to continue to work on.
Go to Charlie Potter.
Hey, Coach, just midway through the second quarter, it looks like you guys made a change at star, going from Brian Branch to Malachi Moore. Was Brian nicked up at all, or was there something else behind that?
No, we just, we want to play both of those guys. They're both good players. Both of them have been starters here in the past. So, we kind of planned to play both players in the game. And so that's just the way we did it.
Go to Aaron Suttles.
Through the first 3 weeks, how would you evaluate the wide receivers in terms of route running, getting separation and blocking, all the things that you ask a wide receiver to do?
I think that we want to develop more consistency at the position. I think we got to continue to work on separating for man-to-man coverage, which is always what you need to do as a receiver. When people play zone and give you free access and you're running to areas and getting in holes, that's not nearly as challenging as when you have to beat a guy in man-to-man. So I think that's something that we need to continue to work on. I think we have good players to do it, and I think we're capable of doing it. We just got to be a little more consistent.
We'll go to Cecil Hurt.
Coach, no matter what you do, pumping in noise, so there's no way to replicate what the fourth quarter was there. Did Bryce have any communication problems, and how was he able to execute pretty successful drives the third one, sort of burning out the clock?
Well, we had two 16-play drives in the second half. I know one of them ended up in a field goal rather than a touchdown, which took a lot of time off the clock and was well executed. Now, we did get 7 penalties. A couple of those were caused by, the noise. So first experience, I think we'll improve at that. And I think it was critical at the end of the game when we got a first down when we needed to in 4 minutes, and they got the ball back with 4 seconds. So there was a lot of, we executed offensively when we had to in the second half.
Okay, we will go to Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, Nick, two-parter, if I may. Just what has been your assessment of Jace McClellan and JoJo Earl? And then also, do you find players from more successful high school programs have more success when they join your program right away?
Well, Jace and JoJo both have, made a lot of contributions and in a positive way. And I think those guys can, continue to have a great role in what we do. And hopefully they continue to improve and continue to have production. I think that the question you ask about successful programs, I think first of all, players that come from successful programs usually have the right mindset for what it takes to be successful. That's kind of what they came from. But also a lot of successful programs, players really, develop a little bit more in successful programs. So sometimes even though you get a guy that maybe comes from a program that's not been as successful, they have more upside and they have more things that they can learn to improve on so that they can become significant players. Now, maybe they don't do it as quickly, but if they can focus on development and what it takes to be successful, I think they have a lot of upside in terms of how they can improve, in the program here. So it kind of goes both ways.
We'll go to Mike Rodak next.
You had Quandarius Robinson back with you on Saturday. Just what did he show you during his suspension, and what led to him being the backup long snapper?
Well, it was our sort of goal to suspend a guy for 2 games, which we did. He is going through a counseling program and a lot of other things here to sort of enable him to learn from making a bad choice, bad decision that actually can put other people in danger. So we want to make him aware of that, but also help him to grow and develop as a person. He's done everything we've asked him to do, so we allowed him to come back for this game. And the fact that we have a couple guys on our team that can be backup long snappers. He happens to be one of them. Major Tennyson is the other one, but he was injured and out for the game, so it was good timing for us to get Q back.
We'll go to Mike Rodak. I just went there. I'm sorry, Mike. We'll go to Stephen. Stephen, go ahead.
Coach, you talked about how Florida ran a lot of different things, but how did you see, what did you think of Drew Sanders being able to attack some of those plays?
Drew Sanders did okay in the game. I think we all could have done a little bit better job of playing the option. We focused a lot on quarterback runs. We focused some on the option. I think there were times in the game where we didn't play the option correctly. So therefore, as coaches, you know, we're responsible for that. So we need to do a better job with all the players being able to do that, and I think have a better understanding of how to do that. So that's definitely something we need to work on this week. We'll see some of those same things this week.
Got time for two more, Joe, and then we'll do a follow-up with Charlie.
Coach, what was your assessment of the offensive line on Saturday, and particularly with Darren Dalcourt?
I thought the offensive line did a good job. You know, we had decent protection for the most part. They do some, you know, pretty good pressures that we were able to, you know, pick up. I think that they played a little different front with their nickel people, kind of a 5-1 with an extra guy coming in the box from the secondary someplace that we had not seen much of before. We had to adapt to that in the game. I thought the players did a good job of adapting to it. So I think a little more consistency in the running game, a little more finish and blocks. But I was not disappointed in the job that those guys did. I think they are improving. They're playing more and more together. They're playing better fundamentally. I think we just have to, you know, it's like every other part of our team, a little more consistent, a little more consistency in performance. Block here, block there, finish in a block here and there will make a big difference in how we're able to run the ball in the future.
All right, Coach, that actually wraps us up. Thanks for your time.